And I think that ends up being the case. So for you guys, like, I'm curious what you've seen out of him so far and how you feel about him potentially taking on a larger role or being the lead back until Genty is back, whenever that may be.
I think I'm comfortable with Mike Washington being the lead back. It's just how do you deal with the depth behind him? And I want to
Yeah.
start with Mike Washington. I think Mike Washington has shown every last bit of someone who can be like a 1-2 punch in this run
Mm-hmm.
game when Ashton Genty does return. And I wonder how much did that change the Kubiak's perspective of the run game? Where like he said, like, "Oh, I want Genty to be this Bill Count back. I don't want him to come off the field." And Mike Washington is showing that he can make explosive plays in the run game too.
Yeah.
And do you switch it up where it's like 60-40 when the Ashton Genty comes back, 70-30, but at the meantime, Genty's gone for the moment. But I think Mike Washington, I think if it's a situation where Mike Washington has to be the lead back for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or however it is, maybe a game. We don't know yet, but we'll see. I think I'm confident he can handle that role. And like I said, he's been getting a lot of reps with the first team offense. Not just these past 2 days, but throughout training camp as well. You've
Yeah.
seen him you have seen them alternate between him and Genty quite a bit. We have seen the speed, we have seen the explosiveness from him. And you match that 4.3 speed with his size. Like, man, he's a polarizing. He looks like a polarizing player in that backfield. Now, he had issues coming out of college dealing with holding the ball so far
Yeah, fumbles.
during these practices and games, in preseason games. We haven't seen that quite a bit. We haven't seen that at all. Does that change in the regular season when the games matter and the nerves are a little bit increase spike just a little bit? But you've seen the explosive plays, and that's what this Raiders team needs. That's something
Mm-hmm.
they lacked last year, even with Genty, right? Because he just kept getting hit at a lot of scrimmage so constantly. But still, Genty showed those pick plays abilities, and Washington has shown he can make it. The 53-yard run against Arizona, the 33-yard run against the Houston Texans last week. So I think that what gives me the confidence is that Genty brings those explosiveness, and with him there, Mike Washington have shown that he can make those explosive plays in the backfield as well. So I'm confident in him. I'm just a
Yeah.
little bit more concerned about how the depth the depth behind him, Olave, Dyer, Roman, are they able to step up? And can they weather the storm if Ashton Genty does miss some time? And if it's a significant amount of time, then do they go out and get somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think to piggyback off of that for sure. I think what we've seen from Mike Washington so far in these 2 preseason games, and I think training camp all training camp long, is that I think he's more than capable to be the RB1, especially in a situation like this. And seeing him go out there for a couple of weeks, and I think that's going to be another thing that's going to be interesting to see is this Niners game, whether or not they're going to like limit his reps because he
Yeah.
might be the main guy going forward
I thought
until
about
Ashton
that too.
Genty's ready to go, right? So I do have a lot of confidence in him, especially from what we've seen. The explosiveness is definitely there. Every time he touches the ball, it seems like he could take one to the house. And that's something that us Raider fans, we love to see. And I think that's why we were so excited to see Ashton Genty and Mike Washington. But
Mm-hmm.
I think the other side of it, of course, is the depth, right? And Ryan spoke on it is, yeah, we do have these young guys, Dylan Lowby. He's looked pretty solid here and there as well. But maybe the Raiders might look into getting a veteran running back option out there. And the good thing is, like, we're going into the last preseason game, and maybe we could just wait until the waiver wire, right? There's going to be a lot of people that are going to get let go or waived, and the Raiders, I think they hold the number one priority, so they could wait and maybe bring in another veteran guy if they were to get released, if they want to do that. But I think knowing Clint Kubiak's offense, the way he runs it, it's always going to be a running back by committee. So I think having that depth behind Mike Washington is definitely going to be crucial, at least until Ashton Genty does come back, though.
Yeah, there's no rush, and yeah, Mike
Yeah.
Washington's an interesting cat. Like you guys said, like we've seen the explosiveness in the preseason games thus far. I mean, look, the 4.33 speed, like you can see it. I am surprised. I think it was the 55-yarder that he got hawked. I thought he was gone. I expected to see
Even
the
this
speed
last one
translate.
too,
Yeah,
bro.
like I was like, what? I'm like, I thought he had 4.33 speed. I was a little surprised about that one. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was going to run away from him. So we'll see, if that translates and can translate into finishing those big runs. But look, this is a kid that was very much so like boom or bust. These are my favorite stats to dive into anytime we talk about Mike Washington Jr. In college at Arkansas, he averaged 9.6 yards per carry when he was contacted at or beyond the line of scrimmage. That was the second highest mark in the running back class of this draft, second only to Jeremiah Love. But on the flip side of that, 21.4% of his runs went for no gain, which was the highest rank or highest clip of any running back in the class. So again, very boom or bust, either all or nothing type of thing. And we've seen the boom from him so far, consistently down in and down out when he's the number one guy. Is that going to translate to the NFL and it's going to be more of that boom or bust thing? Or can he be that volume rusher that can be productive down in and down out? That's going to be very, very interesting to watch. And like you guys said, the depth behind him. I've been banging the table for Dylan Lobby as RB3. I think he's a lock. I've said that. And I don't want to see him as RB2. Like, I'll be completely honest, and that shouldn't shock anybody. But, like, as a depth RB3 piece receiver out of the backfield, I think he's got some there. And then, obviously, as a special teamer. But I'm going to be fascinated to see if Genty does indeed miss time, how they work that share behind him. But you guys brought up potentially bringing in some other guys. Obviously, there's no rush to do that, but I just want to throw out some of the names that are out there and get your guys' thoughts on some of these guys. Joe Mixon is available. Austin Eckler, Antonio Gibson, Nick Chubb, Raheem Mostert, Raider from last year. He's got experience in this system. Kareem Hunt, Alexander Madison, another guy that's got experience in a system like this working in Minnesota. Miles Sanders, Keontae Ingram, Deneric Price, Cam Akers, and Chase Edmonds. Those are just a handful of the names that are out there. Are there any guys in particular that really pique your interest that could be available?
I will
Mixon
go
if he's healthy. Oh my God.
I will go with Kareem Hunt. One thing with like Chubb, he just retired, so that
yeah, good point.
Yeah.
So we but I think Kareem Hunt probably seems like the best fit there. Just like I think
he just worked out with the Lions today.
Yeah,
too, by the way.
And he has 600. I believe he has 611 rushing yards in 17 games with the Chiefs last year, 4 starts. So I think if you want to I think you do this if you know Ashton Genty is going to miss significant amount of time.
Exactly.
And
like,
that's where you got to read between the lines, right? If they make a move, then that tells you the significance of the injury.
So, and that's the one thing everyone need to keep in mind with over these next couple of days. If that transaction wire, like when that transaction notification comes out and it says the Raiders had tried out this running back or this person is visiting or they do sign someone, to me, that's kind of another indication that they think Ashton Genty is going to be out longer than they expect him to be. But like if he is, I think Kareem Hunt makes a lot of sense there. I think he is someone like will be a solid, 2 guy behind Mike Washington. He brings a lot of experience. He's been productive at times. And I think he's someone that if you bring him in, like it won't not like, it won't be as sexy as Genty in Washington, but like at least you're able to stay afloat in the run game. So to me, I think Kareem Hunt makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think Kareem would definitely be good too. I know that the Raiders worked out with Miles Sanders, so I don't know if that's another name, if he's still available out there. Raheem Mostert, formerly played for the Raiders, would be pretty cool. I'm interested in Joe Mixon though, but that's if he's healthy. I know that's did he recently become a free agent or he's been a free agent?
He's been one, right, Ryan? That's my understanding of it. But the interesting thing there is just the Houston tie. I mean, look, there's been a handful of guys like Dare in particular. I think there was one other guy that they brought in from Houston. Obviously, Clint has a relationship, with Houston's head coach.
I forget his name now.
I can't believe I'm blanking on his name, but he's got a relationship with Houston's head coach, and that dates back there. And then obviously his dad coaching in Houston, like he's got folks that have been in that building.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a connection there. Again, what would he command money wise? Does that make sense? That's all things that need to be factored into it.
And I think that goes to you guys' point too. My bad. Well, I think it goes back to your guys' point is like, okay, if the Raiders do make a move, especially depending on who they bring in, it'll definitely kind of give us an outlook of how Genty's doing, right?
Exactly, yeah. But all that to be said, like I'm with you guys. Like I think stick with Mike Washington Jr. Like just kind of like with the receiving core. Like let those guys show you what they can do. Let him show you what he can do. But yeah, that's an interesting comment there. Eckler would be fun. Just because he's been such a hater that would have to change his tune. That's actually kind of funny.
The crazy thing is Austin Eckler, he works out over here in Vegas all the time. He actually goes to the gym that I go to. So I be seeing him like I was like, man, he's not playing for anybody right now. He could just go show up at the facility.
That's funny. Yeah, that always cracks me up, like just in terms of players that have played for other teams that are like rivals and everything like that. That's got to be so weird to do it. Even with Kubiak, like, again, his dad won a Super Bowl with the Broncos. Like, how weird must that have been for him, wearing silver and black for the first time? It's just so funny, like how, I don't know, incestuous the league is, I guess if we can use that word, which feels gross even saying that one, but like, that's just how the league is.